35 homes, shimmering and proud, were slowly sinking into murky water right in front of me, like a slow-motion magic trick you can't look away from. But deep down, you know it's you holding the wand. My heart pounded as those rooftops vanished, not in a flood or some disaster act of God, but because I flipped the switch and let the water roll back home, right where it always belonged. I did it. Yeah, me. A decision born of pure necessity, not cruelty, because those houses never should have been there. They were built by people who thought they could just erase my family's name from the map with paperwork and a smirk. And for months, nobody listened when I said, that land is mine. You ever had a run-in with a homeowners association? That special breed who thinks rules are only for other people? Man, leave a comment, tell me your story, because I never thought I'd have one like this. My name's Rick Hayes. Not too long ago, I thought I'd finally landed in my happy ending. At 45, after 2 decades sweating over pipes and pressure as a water systems engineer, I retired early, grateful to inherit my granddad's little homestead. Just a one-story place tucked up against a stream, peaceful in a way the world forgets. I tended my garden, read technical magazines, and sometimes wandered the edge of the property, letting the water run cold over my fingers. It felt earned. I didn't think I was owed anything more. But as I learned, peace is just what you get between storms. One morning in early spring, I woke to the sound of engines and a line of yellow signs that declared, future home of Pine Lake Estates, right there, practically planted in my garden. First, I thought maybe they were just building next door, that some developer finally bought up that empty field. But then the stakes started appearing, first at the edge, then inching forward every couple days, like someone's idea of a joke. Bulldozers and gravel trucks followed, kicking up dust and noise from sunup to sundown. And still, I tried to tell myself it was temporary. But then, one evening, I spotted a little camera in the trees pointed at my front door, a reminder, I guess, that privacy's only for those with enough money to enforce it. I pulled the camera down, feeling watched in my own home, and caught the eye of Mr. Jenkins, my neighbor walking his dog. He gave me the kind of nod people use when they don't want to get involved. Head down, walk faster. Maybe I should have known right then I was on my own. A week later, I found 3 people in my backyard, hard hats and clipboards, marching around as if they'd bought the place. The leader, a woman with perfect hair and that I'm in charge smile, told me, we're here to liberate this section for 35 luxury homes. She called herself Madison Keene, president of the HOA, Pine Lake's own little queen. Before I could object, she stomped over to my roses and told me they'd have to go for community aesthetics, like her taste meant more than my memories. You ever have someone stand on your land and act like they own it? It's a violation that cuts deeper than any fence line. I told her there must be a mistake, but as I said it, I knew there wasn't. This wasn't ignorance, it was strategy. By the next morning, my no trespassing signs had been yanked up, replaced by construction tape. The old split-rail fence my granddad built was torn down in the night. No note, no apology, just broken timber in the weeds. Then came the letter from the HOA's lawyers, threatening fines and eviction for blocking community development. Attached was a map so absurd it looked like a child's drawing, the kind that claims half your yard belongs to the neighborhood, never mind 80 years of deeds. I spent half a day at the courthouse, digging up every paper trail, deeds, tax receipts, surveys, all clear, all mine. I thought proof would be enough. I boxed up the evidence, went home with a little hope, and for about 5 minutes, I believed the nightmare might end. What a fool I was. The next day, construction picked up double time. Crews pushed farther into my yard, putting up fences through my flower beds, ignoring me like I was a ghost. They posted signs every 20 feet. Authorized personnel only. I wanted to scream, but all I could do was document it and hope someone in authority would care. But nobody cared. The local police treated it like a parking dispute, told me to work it out civilly. The county officials shrugged, said it's between me and the HOA. Even the neighbors kept their heads down. I became invisible, erased not only from their plans, but from their minds. It was in the library, late one night, alone and frustrated, that I found the blueprints that changed everything. Buried in a folder labeled Water Control, 1943, I saw it. The Hayes Reservoir System, with a clause that read, landowner retains all water management rights in perpetuity. I could hardly breathe. For decades, my family had quietly maintained a dam and a set of controls upstream, rights that trumped any local zoning law. My granddad had always talked about the final switch, but I thought it was just an old man's tale. I took those blueprints to Carla Doyle, my attorney. Her eyes widened as she read. "Rick, this is gold. This is older than their entire HOA. But you have to prove it works. If it's neglected, they'll say you forfeited your claim." So began my double life. By day, I watched as my home was sliced and diced by developers, but by night, I teamed up with Roy, an old friend who knew machinery. We crept out to the dam with flashlights, working in silence, restoring gears and pipes that hadn't turned in decades. The system was tough, built back when American steel meant something. Roy grinned. "Give me 3 weeks, and this dam will run better than half the new stuff I see today." The real twist came when I pried open a hidden compartment and found protocols for catastrophic flood mitigation and a legal clause. Any modification to water flow requires landowner consent. That meant every inch of that new development was technically illegal unless I said otherwise. Suddenly, for the first time in months, I held the upper hand. But Madison wasn't the type to surrender. She staged a groundbreaking on my property, local politicians, TV cameras, ribbon cutting, the works. She sent me a glossy invitation addressed to current resident. The audacity made my blood boil, but I smiled for the cameras and kept my secret close. With Roy's help, the dam was ready. Carla filed the court case with all our evidence: old deeds, the blueprints, letters proving our ownership. On the day of the hearing, Judge Patterson, known for having no patience for HOA tricks, listened as Madison's lawyers tried to bury us under paperwork and technical jargon. But when our turn came, Carla calmly presented the evidence. The land is his, and the water is his, by law and by right. When the judge saw the original clause about water management, his eyebrows rose. He turned to Madison's side, asked if they had even checked the history. They stammered about modern progress, but the damage was done. The judge ruled in my favor, crystal clear. My property, my water, my decision. You'd think that'd be the end, right? But you don't know HOAs. Madison appealed, filed injunctions, painted me in the press as a crank holding back the American dream. Then she showed up at my door with $1 million check and a smile like a shark. "Just sign. Admit it was all a misunderstanding, and we'll let bygones be bygones." I looked her dead in the eye. "Not for sale." That's when her tone changed, cold, angry, threatening. "You realize you'll destroy everything for 35 families, not just us." Emotional blackmail, pure and simple. But I saw through it. It wasn't about homes. It was about power. Then came the last straw. I caught HOA contractors trying to sabotage the dam at night. Clear violation of the court order, clear evidence of desperation. With Carla's help, we collected proof, filed charges, gave them until Monday to vacate. Madison called, her voice shaking. "No more games. You can't do this, Rick. There are kids, families." For once, she sounded almost human. But I didn't back down. "You built on stolen land. Now nature's going to take it back." Monday morning was cool and bright. I stood at the dam, the final switch in my hand. I thought of my grandfather, of everything he'd taught me about standing up for what's right. I flipped the switch. The rumble was deep and old, water rushing to reclaim its path. I watched as the new luxury homes went under, one by one. No panic, just quiet, almost respectful retreat. Construction crews hustled to move equipment. Madison appeared in silence, watching her empire sink without a word. I caught her eye from across the hill, my coffee in hand, and she looked away. Sometimes defeat is silent. By noon, the news trucks and government officials arrived. This time, I wasn't the villain. I was the guy who followed the law and protected a natural resource. Environmental experts called it textbook ecological restoration. The HOA collapsed overnight. Lawsuits, bankruptcy. Madison vanished, her name gone from every sign and mailing list. I put up a little plaque by the water's edge, protected under Hayes Water Management Authority, EST 1943. A reminder for anyone who thought about trying this again. 3 months later, the new lake became a haven. Herons, ducks, even a beaver. People stopped by to thank me for exposing a system that had bullied them for years. They called me the dam keeper. The anger faded. What replaced it was something quieter, pride. Knowing I stood my ground, that I protected my family's legacy, that I drew a line no one else dared cross. Sometimes I wonder, did I go too far? Or was this real justice? All I know is, if you let bullies steal what's yours, they'll never stop. That's the story I'll tell my grandkids. How sometimes the best defense is to remind people that laws, like water, find their level. And if you've ever fought your own HOA battle, or seen someone try to steal what's rightfully yours, I want to hear about it. Drop your story below. Let's remind the world that ordinary people can still win. Because the dam still works, and so do I. Just in case they forget.